What an exciting night. I'm so excited to be part of this showing Willie Nelson's 90th birthday celebration. Welcome to the Arkansas PBS studios. I'm Michael Hiplin, and over here joining me is Ryan Harmon.
Good to be with you, Michael. Good to finally meet you. I don't know how we've managed to not cross paths before now.
Well, I'm a huge Willie Nelson fan, and we're going to be talking a lot about Willie Nelson as we watch this show. What a great moment. Willie Nelson reaching 90 years old. And of course, this was more than a year ago. Willie Nelson, now 91, still going strong. But we've got a whole lot to get to tonight, and you're really going to enjoy it. Of course, there we had Chris Stapleton, always on my mind. We've got a lot of performers doing tributes to Willie, and then a little later in the night, we'll see Willie doing duets with others. So it's just great to have everybody here. I want to thank our phone volunteers over here. We've got some students from UCA who are joining us, and you can talk to them by calling 1-800-662-2386 and show your support for Arkansas PBS.
Here's to 90 years of a true American original, Willie Nelson.
And we're back again, Michael Hiplin, along with Ryan Harmon. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about my background.
Please do.
I, like a lot of people, grew up hearing Willie Nelson, but it's an acquired taste. For me as a kid being like 6, 7 years old, every family trip we'd load up in the car, go see my grandparents in Arkadelphia or Monticello, and my mom would break out the 8-tracks. There was Willie Nelson, Red-Headed Stranger, and Stardust, and I hated those tapes when I was a kid.
You are kidding me. Well, that just about wraps up our program for this evening. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.
It wasn't until sometime, I guess, a teenager, first time I really paid attention. It might have been an Austin City Limits episode, or maybe it was the first Farm Aid around 85, I think. But there was a certain point seeing him live on TV that I thought, this guy's pretty good.
Well, that was one of the things about a lot of his, not early records, because the Willie Nelson we know today is not the one that we started out with. He was clean cut, suit and tie, clean shaven, all of that.
Yeah.
And that really didn't go anywhere. It wasn't until he got his own band in the studio, which was a no-no back then.
Yeah.
He got his own band in the studio, recorded his albums the way that they would do demos, and he turned them in. That was Red-Headed Stranger was the first one he did like that, Phases and Stages, and of course Stardust was a whole nother thing for him. And that's where he really started getting into a lot of these kind of more crooner kind of songs. And what we just heard from Chris Stapleton, You Were Always on My Mind, a lot of people don't realize that was a cover.
Right.
He's known as a great songwriter, but the way that he interprets music, that's why songs like that, even if he didn't write them, they are identified with him. And we've got a whole lot of stuff coming up for y'all tonight. I think we're about to hear about Passport, am I correct?
So reach out to the number on your screen or go online and get your PBS Passport today.
And Passport is a way to watch Ken Burns, the country music series he did. That was so good in so many ways, but the Willie Nelson part, you're talking about the clean-cut days when he was really struggling in Nashville trying to cut it, and he wrote a lot of huge songs, legendary songs for other people, but it wasn't until the 70s when he, gave it up, said, I'm going home to Austin.
That's right.
Grew his hair and started doing things his own way with Waylon Jennings and others.
And like you said, the Ken Burns country music documentary, there's the whole episode, I think it's either 6 or 7 that goes into that story, kind of the outlaw Armadillo World Headquarters crowd. And that's one of the reasons why we're talking about PBS Passport as such a great asset to anybody who not only enjoys the kind of programming that you get to see here on Arkansas PBS, but wants to enjoy it a little more often, and maybe you've got a little more of a niche kind of taste, and maybe you want a little more of the music programming than you get to see on a daily basis, or maybe you want a little bit more of the theater stuff, some of the mystery shows. You've got all of it right there at your fingertips. It's a great program to have, and again, you can give us a call tonight, 1-800-662-2386, or go online to myarkansaspbs.org. We'll take any form of American currency you can possibly have on you. We'll be proud to have you as a member, or even just a one-time donor to what we're trying to do here, because this is not only great content, but it helps to evolve and continue the mission of not just Arkansas PBS, but public media in general. You know, we need more of it than we've got. You really don't see this kind of stuff anymore.
And we've got some premiums, so we'll get to more of those in just a minute. I just wanted, before we get back to the show, to just talk about just one of the most poignant moments. I first saw this concert film in the theater. It was like a one-day theatrical run last summer, and we're going to see Roseanne Cash and Chris Christopherson, and it's just doing Loving Her was easy, but Chris was in rough shape at that time. He had been suffering, he's diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I think later they thought it was Lyme disease, but there was a lot of uncertainty about this performance. I later got a chance to talk with Roseanne about this. She told me going out, she didn't quite know if it would work, but you will see. We lost Chris September 28th, just a few months ago, so that just brings especially some poignancy to this. It's among the songs you're going to see, so we hope you'll stay with us, and be sure to call, show your support. We're watching Willie Nelson's 90th birthday celebration. A lot of fun so far.
Oh yeah, man, it's one of those shows where you just can't miss. Every moment of it is great, and every artist has some sort of connection. You know, there's some tribute shows where they just get whoever's available to come in and do something, and maybe they have a connection to the artist, maybe they don't, maybe they understand the music, maybe they don't. This is one of those shows where everybody knows exactly why they're there, and they understand the impact that the man has had, not just musically, but culturally. I mean, he's truly like Dolly Parton and Johnny Cash. He's more than just a music icon. He is truly a global icon.
Yeah, and we're about to see Willie Nelson here soon. He's coming up, I think, next song or two. So you're watching Arkansas PBS. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we're here asking for your support tonight. We've got our phone volunteers looking kind of bored, a little quiet over there. If you're appreciating what you're seeing, hope you'll give us a call, 1-800-662-2386. I'm Michael Hiplin, and I'm here with Ryan Harmon, and you know, I'm feeling just a little constrained here. I think I'm just gonna, you know, loosen up a little, get something, you know, maybe a little more, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, I think for the rest of the night I'll be, got my Willie Nelson shirt
and
here.
Now the phones are ringing.
They've got the phone
Bingo!
ringing. Terrific. So,
Well,
let's see you take it off.
now this is all I can do.
So,
You are welcome. So how about that? If y'all don't want to see more of that, call and donate.
now, I'll tell you when we come back here from this break, I'll tell you a little more about, I got to spend about a half hour with Willie Nelson one time, 19 years ago. So I'll show you a photo and tell you a little more about that. And Willie Nelson, as said, he's coming up. So if you appreciate what you're seeing here tonight, this is public television. We do it with your support.
That's right.
1-800-662-2386, myarkansaspbs.org.
On the road again.
Wrap yourself in this commemorative bandana when you join this station.
And we're back celebrating Willie's 90th birthday. Well, it actually happened more than a year ago. Willie's 91, but we're taking in this incredible performance that was put together to celebrate Willie. I don't remember which show I bought this at, but I probably have seen him about a dozen times over the years. But there was one time, it was May 26, 2005. I had tickets to see him that night. He and Bob Dylan were touring. I was living in South Florida at the time, and they were playing Fort Lauderdale Stadium. The entire tour, no, not the entire tour, a lot of the tour was at old ballparks. Fort Lauderdale Stadium was a spring training park, also some minor league. Later that year, they would be playing at Ray Winder Field in Little Rock. But that morning, I was working for the Miami Herald at the time, and my editor, I thought she was joking. She told me, well, there's the picture. She told me, I want you to go talk to Willie. We were working on a business story about Willie Nelson and biodiesel, which is a company that Willie was involved in. You know, biodiesel can run in trucks like diesel fuel, and Willie Nelson had an investment. He had a truck stop, Carl's Corner, but he advocated for the use of it because it was a way to help farmers, among other things. So I went out there, I talked to him, I interviewed him about Bio Willie, as he called it. That was his brand. Right. But we also talked about other things. The tour with Bob Dylan. He had carpal tunnel an operation, which kept him from playing the guitar for a while. But the sweetest thing, I took about a half hour of his time. That was what, his people had said. And I thanked him for his time, turned off my recorder, and Willie didn't go anywhere. He just dug his hands deeper into his pockets, started talking about the weather, said he was going to be playing golf that afternoon. Couldn't be a nicer guy. So we're going to tell you more here in just a bit. Stay with us.
Sustaining membership is an easy and convenient way to support the programs you love.
And now we're finally seeing Willie. We're watching Willie Nelson's 90th birthday celebration. I'm Michael Hiplin, along with Ryan Harmon. And hey, why are we interrupting the show, you may be asking? Well, it takes money for us to get the rights to broadcast this. We also depend on your support. And that's why we're here tonight, asking you to support Arkansas PBS. We've got our phone volunteers over here. It's quiet, so very quiet.
Yeah,
Make
y'all
them
go
busy.
hoop and holler whenever they come over to you. It'll pick up. There you go.
There we go. There's
there
the
it is.
phone. Thank you.
There it is. See, the phones rang when that happened.
Yeah. I hope that's a sign you're enjoying yourself this evening. It's only going to get better here. This show was taped April 29th and 30th of last year at the Hollywood Bowl. And Willie, of course, now 91, continues putting out albums and is just a true treasure. Latest album, Last Leaf on the Tree, came out, I guess, a couple of months ago. Boy, the title track to that, just so poignant because he has outlived so many of his contemporaries. And a lot of people wouldn't have expected this, Willie,
Not really, but I was having this conversation with a friend of mine a while back after Chris passed away that, not to touch on a sensitive subject, but you think about some of the things that those guys indulged in back in the day. Willie kind of did that the least out of everybody. I mean, he had his fair share of trial and error like everybody, but overall, he's been, if you watch any of the old documentaries about these guys, they all say that Willie was truly a free spirit and he never worried about anything. I mean, you look at the fact that the IRS stuff didn't just absolutely take it out of him. Most people would have just folded with that.
Yeah.
So he really is kind of the model citizen for how to just live a really carefree life. And he doesn't put out albums because he has to. He does it because he wants to, and he still indulges in so many different types of music. And you talk about, we mentioned earlier, you said something about Willie still going strong. When you talk about artists still going strong, a lot of times we say that to be nice, and maybe it's artists that put out an album every once in a while. They might do 20 or 30 shows a year. Willie's still one of the top touring acts in the country. He hasn't really slowed down at all. Pretty much only does outdoor venues now. Ever since COVID, he decided no more indoor venues, and I don't think that's changed. But whenever you get the effect of that being shows like this at the Hollywood Bowl, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Because these are special performances.
And he does continue to put out albums, maybe about once every 9 months, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
And, sure, he's slowed down a bit. Nowadays he's up on a stool for much of it, and he doesn't have quite the vigor, but boy, the soul is still there.
That's what counts. And again, we've got a lot of different ways that you can help us out tonight. Of course, we've mentioned several times the gifts that we have available for you this evening, but we do want to really make sure that you understand times have been tough for everybody. It's just one of the parts of life that we all hate. But anything that you can do to help support the mission of Arkansas PBS and public television is greatly appreciated. If you're not in a position where you can buy any of the gifts that we have for you tonight, that's okay. If you want to call in or go online and make a one-time donation, we appreciate every single bit of it, because it's not just the money, it's knowing that you support what it is that we're doing here. So you can call 1-800-662-2386 or go to myarkansaspbs.org. If I had a preference, I'd say call. We're having a lot more fun with the phones tonight. Appreciate it.
We'll get back to the music in just a bit, but we do hope you'll show your support. A lot of fun performances coming up, a lot more from Willie with the likes of Snoop Dogg. Yeah, the Willie Nelson, the ability to perform with so many unique people. Yeah, you think about him and back in the 80s, Julio Iglesias or Ray Charles, for him to have the level of appreciation there. 7 Spanish Angels. He appreciates all different kinds of music, clearly, and is just such a treasure.
Well, he doesn't just appreciate it, he truly understands it. And he connects with it, he knows where it all came from, and he knows the importance it has. And somehow he has a way of tying everything back in to country music. Yeah. It's maybe he does a jazz standards album, maybe he did a reggae album back in the early 2000s. And it all somehow, even when he's exploring with different genres, it all ties back into that brand of Willie Nelson. What is Willie Nelson? He's country music, and really he's one of the artists that inspired the term that is so often used now, Americana, which is really probably the most appropriate thing that we can say. Of course, he's as much of a legend as you can get in country music, but he surpasses that so much. And again, that's why all of these artists who span all kinds of different genres, and even not just artists, there are actors and directors and all kinds of people that are on this program tonight, and it's because of the impact that he's had outside of music.
Yeah.
And you really just don't see that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the friendships he had, one of the key friendships was Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah.
The second Johnny Cash annual fundraiser that they did to restore his home up in Dyess in northeast Arkansas. Arkansas State University did such a service for the state by buying that home, making it part of its Arkansas Heritage Sites program. And we're talking about the first year, 2011. Well, the second year of the festival, 2012, he performed at ASU. And I'll see if we could go to some photos here that I took. That's one of the few times I was actually in the pit.
Wow, that's a great
in
shot.
front of the stage, and was able just to get right in there and take a lot of photos. And there you see, the family. We still had much of the long-term. Oh, Paul English right there, the drummer, and sister Bobby was still with them. Jody Payne on guitar. That was such a treat. I had seen Willie in concert many times, but to be able to be, 5 or 10 feet away from him there, just such a joy. But to restore the Johnny Cash house, and Well, Johnny
Y'all
Cash
hook
too.
and holler, you're on the camera again. More. There we go. That's better.
And maybe we'll talk more. You know, the Johnny Cash statue, of course, was unveiled this year, but all going back to Willie. Willie stuck with Friends, you know, for decades.
He did, and you're talking about his band. He's one of the few artists that really never had any turnover with his band. And that's rare, too, because most artists, and this happens a lot in Nashville, too, to pull back the curtain a little bit, most country singers not only are fine with having turnover with their band every year, it's usually encouraged. So that's why every time you see an artist, the band's kind of kept in the background. You don't necessarily know who they are. With Willie, they were part of what you were paying for. And the only time whenever he lost somebody from his band is when they unfortunately passed away. He never just replaced people to replace people. There are a few people like that. Now, I was having this conversation with my buddy Sharp Dunaway, Conway, Pride, I was about to say native of St. Louis, but Conway's Pride and Joy.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day about the fact that Alice Cooper never really has turnover with his band. And I know I keep saying that Willie Nelson is a rare example of how to do things in the music business, but again, I can't say this enough. It goes back to why all these people showed up for his 90th birthday. You don't develop that kind of a respect and that kind of camaraderie if you're not one of the most relatable and really loyal people in the business. And that's why it's there. And still, you know, at 91, who would think all these years later we would be talking not only about Willie Nelson still being here, thank the Lord, but the fact that he's still performing. And we got a lot more of it coming up.
Thanks for watching. And there we are.
Man, like a boss, directing people on his own happy birthday to me. That's how it's done.
It is. I hope you've enjoyed the show here. Willie Nelson's 90th birthday. This was recorded April 29th and 30th of 2023. I'm Michael Heblin, along with Ryan Harmon.
Good to be with you.
Man, it's been a great evening.
It really has been, man. Getting to see shows like this, and we're lucky we get a really comfy front row seat to just watch it and get to talk music for a little while. And at the end of the day, this is fun for us to do, and we're glad to be here and to try to help out with the mission of Arkansas PBS, but we can't do it without you. I know you hear it all the time, but there's a reason why we keep saying it. It's because it's the truth. So that's the reason why tonight we ask you, if you enjoyed anything that you've seen so far, or anything that you'll see all day long on Arkansas PBS, we just ask that you please consider throwing your support behind us. And again, we've got a lot of great gifts that we've shown you tonight that you can have as part of this particular program, and we can run through those again in a minute. But we've got, I wish that we had the bandana. We were saying this earlier.
Yeah.
$750 per month as a sustainer, or just $90 flat out if you want to do it one time.
We hope you're enjoying this. I'm Michael Heblin, along with Ryan Harmon here in the studio. And again, just thanks for staying with us through this. What a treat going to this concert. We've got the Highwaymen coming up next, but Willie Nelson, I thought I'd just show one more time. They asked if I wanted to go to it. My one
Just
time
rub
getting
it in,
to
why
talk.
don't you?
Yeah. 2005, I was just a young pup then, interviewing Willie Nelson. I was working in Miami at the Miami Herald, which had a partnership with WLRN, which is the NPR and PBS station in Miami. I'm a native Arkansan, but spent quite a bit of time there. But the Willie Nelson, I was telling the story, but I kind of got distracted on the whole assignment I had. The thing is, after a half hour of interviewing Willie, kind of a meandering interview, I thought I'd taken too much of his time, and I thanked him. I turned off my recorder, and Willie didn't go anywhere. He just sat there. He started talking with me about how nice the weather was, and he is going to get out and play some golf that afternoon. And it dawned on me, Willie Nelson's just making polite conversation
That's
with
just
me.
the kind of guy that he is. And speaking of not going anywhere, we want to thank big time our sustainers who have been kind enough to support us all these years and are kind enough to throw their support every month. But we know not everybody can afford that. Not everybody can afford the $600 ambassador circle level, for instance. But if you can make even a one-time donation, even $1, $5, anything is greatly appreciated. Even consider, $5, $10, even $20 a month if you're able to.
Right back at you.
Wow. The Highwaymen.
And the late, great Chris Christopherson right there.
Yeah.
One of the classics, me and Bobby McGee.
Uh-huh. And, of course, Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, Willie, the only one still around. But just amazing to see them come out, open up the show with their biggest hits right there.
And we were talking about that while the show was on. It's amazing that that group, and any one of them individually could fill a whole show with nothing but hit songs. But the fact that all four of them together walk out on that stage, the only reason that they're playing songs that were new songs for them at the time is because they had records out to promote. But they didn't have enough time to play all their hit songs. That speaks volumes for exactly the kind of resumes that these guys had. And to get them all together, like you said, this show was the stuff of legend for like 20 years. It was released a long time ago, and you couldn't get it for the longest time unless you found somebody who happened to have a decent used copy. Now, you can get it right here. You're getting to watch it. I don't know that we've got time to show the entire show tonight, because like we said, it's packed with hits. But if you do want it tonight, we've got it for you right here on Arkansas PBS. Want to tell them a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. Hey, if you appreciate what you're seeing tonight, we've still got folks over here, and there's thank you. The phone ringing. Hey, we want to say thank you. We had a $750 donation from Sharon, a one-time gift, who said she was enjoying what she was seeing. Please, if you are also enjoying what you're seeing, give us a call, 1-800-662-2386. You can also give online, My Arkansas PBS. Become a sustaining member, that'd be great. One-time donor, whatever you can do, please show your support. Some great stuff there. I will note that since that was produced, Willie Nelson has most recently put out Last Leaf on the Tree. Just stunning album. Yeah, Highwaymen played, I think, multiple times, at least once, at Barton Coliseum in Little Rock. I kicked myself for not seeing that. I was pretty young at the time, but I saw that at one of the exhibits about the history of Barton Coliseum.
Right.
But to be able to catch these people, some, people might have dismissed them. Oh, these are washed up people. This is like an oldies act at the time. Now you look back and you think, wow, these were, the Mount Rushmore of country music.
That's something that's long been debated about who exactly is on the Mount Rushmore of country music, but there's a reason why they were flashing up the cover of their first studio record for the Highwaymen earlier. There's a reason why it's laid out like that. Whatever names you want to throw into the consideration for the Mount Rushmore of country music, kind of hard to argue that these guys aren't at least part of the conversation, and a pretty big part at that. You really just don't get this kind of stuff anymore. There's a reason why everybody loves listening to the older music and watching the older concerts. It's because they just don't make it like they used to anymore. It's one of the reasons why people enjoy watching Arkansas PBS. And again, we need your support, not just for this program, but for everything that we do here. All of the content that we do on a daily basis on Arkansas PBS, everything that we do digitally, all of it cannot be done without the support of you, the viewer. So if you like what you're seeing tonight, the only way that we know you want more is if you call and make your support heard. 1-800-662-2386, or you can go to myarkansaspbs.org. And I think we're about to see maybe a little bit more of the show, or do we have a little bit more to talk about?
I think we've got one more spot to show here about the importance of becoming a sustaining member.
Good call. My bad.
Sustaining membership is an easy and convenient way to support the programs you love.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier about Johnny Cash, and he had quite a career transition. He was kind of stagnant there in the 90s, but when Rick Rubin came in and began producing Johnny Cash just brought him to a whole different level. But of course, you know, this year, Arkansas, after 5 years of work, after first being passed in the legislature, put Johnny Cash, along with Daisy Bates, mentor of the Little Rock Nine, statues in the U.S. Capitol. We've got the Johnny Cash Boyhood Home over in Dyess, now appreciated as an Arkansas heritage site. We're seeing Arkansas truly appreciate and just the historical significance of Johnny Cash. And for me, I covered every step of the way. Actually, with the house, when beginning with the first concert in 2011, after Arkansas State University acquired it and began fundraising, and then when the legislature passed the bill to replace the statues, those two stories are among, actually probably are the favorite stories that I've covered in my career. The appreciation that you now see for Johnny Cash, but also obviously the rest of the Highwaymen as well. But these are truly historic, significant figures who will be looked back upon, you know, for a long time. The influence just can't be overstated.
Well, and the talent level too. I mean, these guys, they're not just singing lead with a bunch of backup singers. They're singing harmony with each other. So they were no slouches when it came to that. And these guys recorded their own harmonies in the studio most of the time. So it goes without saying, not just the song selection, but the level of talent that you're seeing on this show. It's unmatched.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing more of it, and I believe we are just about ready.
We're
Stay
ready.
tuned. Stick around.
We'll get back to this 1990 performance by the Highwaymen, talking about being able to pick the best from their individual bands for this performance. And I don't think we've actually talked about him tonight, but Mickey Raphael, obviously on the harmonica during this show. During the Willie 90th birthday celebration, he was the band leader that night. And he's always been someone I've just admired. One of the original members, well, a longtime member of the family.
Well, from the core group that people would know as Willie Nelson and family.
Yeah.
He's one of the primary members, and he's still in Willie's band to this day, and he's one of the most sought-after players out there. He's in Chris Stapleton's band whenever Willie's not on the road, and still a very in-demand session harmonica player as well. And
if you go back to the pilot episode, the first episode of Austin City Limits, which Willie did, there's Mickey Raphael.
That's right.
Hair out to here. But
he's still got a good do going.
He's still got a good do going, but yeah, he's one of the few surviving members of the original, or the family from that era.
That's right.
So just enjoy just watching all these different songs. And what I enjoyed here in the last segment, just watching them alternate verses, and in some cases, you had Sunday Morning Coming Down that obviously Chris Christopherson wrote, but Johnny Cash had the big hit version with, or I Still Miss Someone. Just seeing these guys, what an amazing show.
Absolutely.
This is.
And they could have gotten away with just doing like an hour and a half show and just kind of mailing it in, but they've got a great set list on here. And again, we don't have time to show you the whole thing tonight, but there are plenty of options if you want to see this thing. Let's run through them one more time, because I want to make sure that we hit on this for anybody who wants it. If you want the DVD and 3 CD set,
reach out to the number on your screen or go online to give to this PBS station right now. Thank you.
Just a few more minutes left. I want to thank our volunteers over here. Several UCA students who came over. We really appreciate your time this evening. And thank you to everybody who's called. Just one more song to go here, but we were talking just about a few other performers. Waylon did a whole lot of Billy Joe Shaver songs.
That's right. And you pointed out, amazingly, no Billy Joe well, I got to stutter on the last break. No Billy Joe songs in the program.
Yeah. Now, Billy Joe Shaver, I loved Waylon's Honky Tonk Heroes album, but there was, when I learned that, whatever it was, 10 of the 11 songs or 11 of the 12 songs were written by Billy Joe Shaver. Yeah. I would see him many times over the years when he would come through Little Rock, and he's another one of the heroes we've lost. Not to use the word heroes, but...
well, he was a hero,
He
man.
was a hero.
He wrote a lot of those songs. He was the honky-tonk hero.
Yeah.
He lived that life, man.
He
a lot of
did.
stories that we can't tell on the air, but they're well known.
Yeah. So, well, what should we... we've got just a couple minutes left here.
What are you talking about, Billy Joe Shaver? He actually made several appearances over the years on Austin City Limits.
Oh,
a couple
yeah.
of great writers' rounds. And, of course, we've got a limited time tonight, so we can't show you everything we'd like to. But the good news is if you've got PBS Passport, you can catch a lot of that stuff. And I don't even know how many of those old Austin City Limits shows are on there, along with countless other great concerts. And I know we're talking about music tonight, but there's so many other great shows on there. Nature, Nova, Masterpiece.
Sure.
Way too many to try to list here.
Yeah.
But if you go to myarkansaspbs.org, you can find more information about Passport, as well as other ways that you can help us out tonight. Again, we want to give a huge shout out and a sincere thank you to all of our sustainers. Thank you for helping us to be able to keep this going, and we need your support. Please don't ever leave us. We've always been there for you. Please be there for us. And again, for those who are new with Arkansas PBS, those of you who tune in for the first time tonight, we need your support as well. Call in, let us know what you think about the programming. Let us know you want to see more of this. And you can call in and give even just a one-time donation, $5, $10, $20. It all helps more than you would ever realize. To run through the gifts that we've got for you one last time, we've got the 3 CD and DVD set of what you're watching tonight. It's the entire show, $18 a month or $216 one time. I'll try to be quicker this time.
2 hours, 39 minutes.
Exactly.
On this.
Way more than we've got time for. You've got the debut studio album from the Highwaymen that you can get on CD, $6 a month or $72 one-time payment. Then we've got the big Willie Nelson bundle we can give you. We've got the collector's edition Bluegrass Blue Vinyl LP, $12 a month or $144. But if you're gonna go for $12 or $144, why not just do the whole thing? Get the Bluegrass LP along with I Don't Know a Thing About Love. I mean, more bang for the buck. Can't really beat that. But again, it's just our way of saying thank you for supporting what it is that we do and what we've always done.
Yeah.
So again, 1-800-662-2386, myarkansaspbs.org.
I just want to get back to Austin City Limits for a moment. That was really an education for me as a kid. That's where I learned about a whole different realm of country music. And that's been a staple on PBS since, what was it, 74, 75, and it's still going. And it just exemplifies the uniqueness of what we can bring you here on Arkansas PBS. So if you appreciate what you see here, show your support tonight. 1-800-662-2386, myarkansaspbs.org. Glad to see our phone volunteers over here getting busy at the end of the night. Just can't tell you how much we do appreciate it, because we can really only do it with your support. Ryan, it's been great.
Michael.